Evening, everyone. Thanks for coming. John, Sean, Dan, James, most Adina. Thank you as always. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, we get 5 to open. Vice Chair is not going to make it today. Sean with his tie on and everything. Shit, I look bad.
Yeah, I just came from work. I figured I'd leave it on.
I'll do an exit button. Yeah. On TV, you guys. Remember that used to be a big thing, being on TV? I remember being on Rex Trailer. But anyway. All right. Let me open this Board of Appeals meeting. I'd like to call this meeting to order. This is the Board of Appeals. I'm John Catino, sitting as chairman. Permit me to confirm that all members and persons anticipated on the agenda are present and can hear me. Mr. Burton.
Here.
Mr. Mosier.
Yes.
Mr. Heaton. Mr. Hunt.
Here.
And Mr. Master.
Here.
Okay. All right. Somebody's. I'm getting feedback from somebody's. Our members of staff, Adina.
Here.
Excellent. Okay. This open meeting of the Board of Appeals is conducted remotely. Please note that this meeting is being recorded. Accordingly, please be aware that others may be able to see you. Take care not to screen share your computer. Anything that you broadcast may be captured by the recording. All supporting materials have been provided to the members of this body and available on the town's website via the web meeting calendar, unless otherwise noted. Each vote taken in this meeting will be conducted by a roll call vote. Let's proceed to the first agenda item. The Hopkins Board of Appeals will hold a public hearing on Wednesday, July 9, 2025 at 7 p.m. to hear all persons interested in the application for a special permit petition for variance filed by Custom Nest Builders Incorporated, 12 Lenox Drive, Franklin, Mass, to demolish an existing dwelling destroyed and rendered inhabitable by fire in 2023 and replace it by a new single-family home on a non-conforming property located at 69 Haywood Street, Hopkins, Mass. Assessors map L36158-0. The property lacks the required 5,000 square feet in area, and proposed dwelling does not meet the minimum setback requirement, lot coverage percentage requirements. The property is owned by Catherine Piper, PR, for the estate of Judith Ann McNeil, 22 East Bacon Street, Apartment C, Plainville, Mass. The hearing will be held remotely using the Zoom meeting service. For additional information, please email zba@hopkinma.gov, call the Department of Land Use Planning and Permitting at 508-497-9745, and check the online meeting calendar agenda for this meeting at hopkinma.gov. This legal notice is also posted in Massachusetts Newspapers Publishers Association MNPA website at masspublicnotices.org. John Catino, Chair and Clerk, regarding 26001. All right, we're in the new season. 26. Yes, sir. It's July. All right. Oh, this is the first one. Oh, Arnold, you're here. Excellent.
I am, yes. In the flood, almost in the flood.
Yeah, you sort of do that. Kilroy was here. We see your eyes. Yes, sir. There you are. All right. There's full Arnold. All right. So who's here represent? Oh, and John, you're here too. Great, thank you. John Gilchich from Town Hall. All right. So who's going to be? Is Eric from Custom Homes there? Or who's going to present from? Please enter and sign in.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, Rick Goodrow with United Consultants. How are you this evening?
Excellent. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having us. So we have worked with Custom Nest Builders and prepared a plot plan indicating the existing property in question and the proposed house that they are seeking relief to be allowed to construct. We have filed a application which included a variance request dated May 21st, 2025, indicating the history of the property, ownership dates, and the combination of the various lots in question, which are 4 lots. If it would be possible, Mr. Chairman, may I share my screen?
Absolutely.
Should be all set now.
Thank you, John.
All righty. Entire screen. Are you able to see my screen?
Not yet.
All right. All right, let me try that again. I apologize. Entire screen share is not allowing. How about now?
Not yet.
Window. So I'll go D file. How about now?
Nope, not yet.
Share.
There you go.
Now? Okay, so this is the memo that I had mentioned, requesting a variance for a custom nest builders for the property located at 69 Haywood Street. We provided a copy of the deed recorded at the appropriate registry of deeds. The property consists of 2 parcels with 2 lots for each parcel, lot 62 and 63. Parcel 2 is lots 133 and 134, which is where the proposed house would be located. I'm going to scroll down here. Copy of the deed, Exhibit B. So this is Exhibit B, indicates the 4 lots that I just mentioned, 133 and 134, having frontage on Hayward Street, and lots 62 and 63 having frontage on a unimproved town road. Moving on, we've indicated the hardship being the shape of the lots. The lots come together at a point where the lot 62 and I believe it, hold on just a second, better here. Lot 62 and 133 come together at this point here. But for the sake of this application, we've proposed development on the 133 and 134 lots, which do have the required 50 feet of frontage on Hayward Street, but lack the 5,000 square feet of area. With a area of about 4,550 square feet. We feel that the lots are unique to the neighborhood as indicated in the tax assessor map we provided here, in that it's 2 diagonal pieces of property connected together at one common point. Looking at the surrounding neighborhood, we don't see any other configuration of lots combined that would in fact have that type of a shape to it. As the chair had mentioned, this lot previously had a house located on it that we understand was destroyed by a fire. And what the applicant is proposing to do is basically redevelop that house, purchase it from the family that was subject to losing the house via fire in that tragedy, and recognizing a financial gain by selling the property. And also, it's our understanding that as part of this transaction, some tax liabilities will also be addressed to the town of Hopkinton. If in fact these lots were combined, we feel that it would then meet, the 4 lots were combined, it would then meet the requirement of the 5,000 square feet of frontage. So the unique shape of the lots, as I mentioned, coming together at, thank you, at that common point creates the unique shape of the lots, which we feel is unique to the neighborhood. We feel that the applicant's proposal to construct a house is consistent with other houses in the neighborhood, that the requested setback relief and lot coverage is also consistent with other houses in the neighborhood being previously developed on subsized lots, and that the proposal would in fact be consistent with the existing neighborhood. So I'll stop sharing now, and that is a summary and overview of the proposed project. We'd be happy to discuss any questions the board or the public may have. Thank you.
Okay, now that Mike came and Arnold is here, so there's 4 of us that are permanent members. Sean got in one last week. Dan, you got one. John, will you take this one? Since you haven't been here in a couple weeks? And be our number 5. Thank you very much. Okay, so anybody have any questions for Rick?
Yeah, I do.
Thanks, Arnold.
All right, so I'm looking at this plan that you talked about, and it looks like there's 2 lots. It looks like number 136 and 158. Those are the 2 lots that you want to build on and combine them as one lot?
I believe they're actually 133 and 134 on the recorded plan of record. I'm not sure if you're referring to the
Yeah, I
tax.
printed it out, so I'm trying to.
Yeah, and then it's 62 and 63 or something, or 63.
Correct. If I could share again, Mr. Chairman, I can pull
absolutely.
up that map if you'd like, if you feel it would be helpful. Can you see that?
No.
No, not yet. John will release it in a second. Here it comes.
You got it now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Scroll.
So the 2 lots, and this is a photocopy of the
Rick,
section.
can you zoom in a little bit on those with your computer?
I'm trying, yes.
Yeah, I mean, I can see them. So there's 133, 134, and then there's 62 and 63.
Yeah.
Correct. So
And then
133 and 130.
They only connect with each other at a corner. And what's the total square footage of those 4 lots?
The total square footage is approximately 9,100 square feet.
And they're all owned by the same owner?
Correct.
And who owns 131, 132, and 6160? That's somebody else?
Yes.
And which lot had the house that burned down?
The 133, 134 is where the house was
You want to
situated.
combine these four lots together to get above the 5,000 square foot?
Well, we've requested a variance because of the fact that they're just together there, but absolutely, the plan would be for the four lots to be combined and no proposal would be coming forward for lot 62 and 63. So yes, to answer your question, yes, the idea would be to have the four lots combined.
Isn't there, and maybe Sean knows this, but if you have a non-conforming lot and the house burns down, don't you have a right to rebuild the house? It's sort of like grandfathered, or am I?
I don't see why there would be an issue, but it looks like they want to change the foundation. They're not building on the same foundation. If I'm correct, you want to like have a new foundation for the new house. Is that correct?
That is correct, yes.
I think that's the issue, Alan. If it were on the same foundation, then I think they'd be okay. You know, the issue, if you combine these four lots, right, you'd have the appropriate lot square footage, correct?
Well, we would have the lot square footage for the requirements of Chapter 40A, pre-existing non-conforming lots, which is 50 feet of frontage, which, as you can see, the two lots combined is 50 feet here.
Yeah.
And then the four lots combined would be 9,100 square feet. So we're approaching it that this is, one piece of this, if you will. The intent is that all four of these lots are in fact combined. And development will only happen on the one house is all that's being proposed to be built.
All right,
This is a question for Mr. Cohen.
other people
Do you
I
think?
don't know how you can combine those lots the way they're not really abutting.
Well, the same one I knew Don, and and they always own those two lots. Whether or not he didn't combine the four of them. He just built they had an old house, 130, 134, 133, and 134. It's just, for me, it's just sad driving by the burnt house every time I'm up on that hill. I would just love to see a new house built on there. Wow, it's just a sad sight.
So, Mr. Chairman, if I may, I was just able to, this is a copy of the deed, and this was a conveyance into the McNeils. And parcel one in this deed is listing 62 and 63 per the Rosenblatt plan. And then parcel two is listing the 133 to 134 as also as referenced on that plan.
Mm-hmm.
So
My
in essence, they've been deeded as one, if you will. And that's how we would propose to continue that forward.
Yeah,
Well,
Mr.
I
Chairman,
think-
you could have a deed that on one deed convey two parcels of land that don't even abut each other. They could be,
right.
No, I totally understand. I always thought that it was weird that he had those four, but that whole area of town is very strange from the way that they broke it up a couple hundred years ago.
Yeah.
Come on,
Yeah,
we
if
have one of these at least. We have one of these at least once a month.
Yeah. Mr. Chair, I think if these lots were adjacent, they would merge. Doctrine of merger would mean they become one lot. So the question is whether this touching point in the corner, could we consider that adjacent? And if we consider it adjacent by the doctrine of merger, it's now one lot.
Mm-hmm. Well, it is adjacent. Then, by definition, it is adjacent. It's like a neighbor. It's an adjacent neighbor. Mike, you got your hand up? Yep.
Yeah, we had this issue before where somebody owned two parcels of land like this, and this was years ago. And we had asked the attorney about it and to look into it, and they said that what is it, the merger? They were
Doctrine of
not
merger.
required to merge because they were not considered adjacent parcels.
Hmm.
Okay. So my question to John Gilchrist, if he's still here, is, do they need to merge these two lots in order to rebuild that building? Could we just change the setbacks and everything if they're going to build on 133 and 134, whatever it said? And if they
Yeah, there's no need for them to merge them. Merging them would not meet the 5,000 square foot criteria. Right now, the way that the application is submitted, it looks like they are, and I sent you the suggested motions, which
Right.
lists out the deficiencies. I believe
Mhm.
it's lot area, coverage, setback from the road, and then setback from the side yards. So right now, the way that it would work, since it's under the 5,000 square feet, because those are two separate parcels and they're not considered adjoining, so they're not held in common ownership as adjoining parcels. It wouldn't meet that 5,000 minimum to get a special permit to have the dwelling. So it would need a variance, but it needs a variance for the other things as well. And then I know the board was talking about it earlier about the catastrophic loss of a structure. That is only good for a year. And it's got to be, and the new structure has to be the same volume and height of the previous structure.
Yeah.
So they would have to get a variance if they're doing a different sized house anyway.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. At the time period in this one, I don't think would be necessarily relevant because this was held up in probate court. So they didn't have the ability to do it within the year. But when you're talking the size, you're going beyond the size. So you got to have both, right? So if the size increases, they don't
Well, for
have
a
that
special-
automatic
that-
right.
That's for a special permit, but if with the variance, I think we could still work with the size, couldn't we?
Yeah.
The fact that it's a variance means you kind of have blank check to do whatever
Right.
relief.
Mike, yes.
Yeah, but wouldn't this be a self-created nonconformity with regard to lot area coverage?
I guess. But has anybody, if we want to go with precedent, has anybody on the lake area ever rebuilt on the exact same foundation? We've done, since in the
Oh,
5 years I've been on the board,
I agree.
everybody's changed. So there's a precedent for this size lot for people putting up stuff. Luckily, this isn't on Downey Street where there's no parking and there's 1,000 people coming up and saying, "Oh my God, nobody can build a house that's as big as mine. Nobody else can build one mine."
No, but on those other applications, I can't recall anyone that was exceeding the allowable coverage.
Oh, I don't know. We did. I'm just thinking of one. Oh,
Because we haven't granted anybody that I'm aware of a variance for the lot size. They've always had the 5,000 square feet.
Mm.
So 25%, that's a footprint of 1,250 square feet.
Mhm.
We've had a lot of tall buildings,
Yeah.
but I don't think we've ever granted one for lot coverage.
Okay.
Yes, Mr. Chairman,
Here's
to grant a variance to do it legally, No, it has to be something about the topography or unusual shape of the lot. And, just because, and the fact that the lot is undersized is not considered ground for giving a variance. Otherwise, everybody could get a variance if they had a lot that was too small. I think the law is pretty clear about that. So, it's unfortunate. And maybe, like Sean said, that there's some kind of a extension of the time if they wanted to build on the same foundation or the same spot, that you wouldn't count the time when they're trying to go through probate. But it does seem to me that they should be able to build if there was a house before, but then they have the law that says that if you don't do it within a year. But to get to have if the standard is if it's not by right to get a variance just because it's a small lot, that's not a valid reason to grant a variance. And I think we have to apply the law and not be sometimes
But then again, I think that this, as humans, and to Sean's, when he was saying is, because stuff got caught up in probate and everything else, we're a board that does show some compassion. This family lost.
Why can't he build it? They build it on the same spot. That's what they'd have to do. Say if they did it within the year, that's my understanding.
Yeah, but I don't know if we also take in consideration that two people and a dog were killed in that exact same spot.
Yeah.
Sorry, Mike. Yeah, I know I'm getting a little too emotional about it.
Yeah, I have a question. The 1 year, where is that? Is that zoning or building?
Through the chair, it's in the zoning bylaw.
It's in the zoning bylaw.
Yep.
Is there anything in the state law about that?
I believe there is. I'd have to look it up to find the reference, though.
Because the zoning could just be following the state law, but I don't. I'd have to look it up too.
So is it possible we could give them a variance for the time limit based on conditions associated with probate and the unusual circumstances of this associated with this property?
So through the chair, I think if the only issue was the timing, the zoning enforcement officer could probably make a determination that the time didn't start until, or it was, unreasonably hampered due to probate, something like that. But if you grant a variance for that, that would be tricky because you're just going to be you could do a variance for all of the other setback requirements that would essentially make it fit in the same footprint and kind of achieve the same thing. I don't know if it makes sense to do a variance for the time limit is what I'm saying.
And considering that, that when we're talking about the odd topography and the size of the lots and all of that stuff, that was, it was self-imposed, it's something that was always there. And I think that the imposition happened when they made 25-foot wide lots, a long time ago. And, the other thing is, if somebody wanted to take one of these 25-foot lots and build on it, you could build line to line. And there's no restrictions on it. If somebody has one 25-foot lot wide, you can build line to line, edge to edge, and there's by right in that area.
How could you do that without without meeting setback requirements.
those lots have a weird grandfathering.
I don't,
Yeah, that's, I
we've
thought it was very
granted,
strange myself when I heard that.
we've granted multiple setback relief on,
Right, but that's because people
properties.
come, not with just the 125 footer. If you have a 125-foot lot and you didn't merge it with another one, once you merge it with a second lot, you lose all that grandfathering. But if you have one 25-foot wide lot, you can do anything you want with it. And that's so, and so that, that's why, we're getting into, that's why we exist, is to throw some, some human interaction into our bylaws and our setbacks and all of that kind of stuff. And, if there's a, as to Mike's point, no, maybe we haven't done one that's under 5,000 square feet. I just don't know, because I just think that every single one of those lots is so gosh darn small. It's, I don't know how anybody could put up a house all along Downey and all that stuff, and Haywood and everything else. It's just, or Downey Place. It's just amazing what people can construct on that lakeside. But in my opinion, that just the size of those gosh darn lots is enough enough to handle the shape of the land. It doesn't. I don't think it has to be a triangle shape or a panhandle or any of that other kind of stuff to just to be it. I think that just being so gosh darn small. Because the other thing that happens downtown, and we've got to change that bylaw downtown to from 15,000 square feet, where 80% of them are under 8,000 square feet. I'm digressing.
So, Mr. Chair,
Yes.
if this was a legal lot, when it was created, why, I'm just, it's a legal question, but whether, why wouldn't it be just grandfathered? All the lots are buildable because they were legal, or is it because that if you owned a lot and you never built on it, and they changed the zoning, even though it was a legal lot when the lot was created, if you want to build on it after the zoning changes and it becomes non-conforming, does it then subject to the new zoning? It's
my understanding that a single 25-foot by, what are these, 25 by 100 or something very strange. Yeah, I think it's 25 by 100. That there is that special exemption. And but the way I'm seeing this is that was it 62 and 63 were combined to build that one house. It was built between them, so that kills that one.
Yeah, I mean, I would like to have a clearer idea of what the law is, here. Because on the other hand, you do have those situations where you have a house that burns down and or get torn down for whatever reason, and then there's a time limit that they can build on it where it's a non-conforming lot. That comes up. There's cases about that, where that's an issue. So be nice to know what the law is. But I don't think it legally qualifies for a variance.
Well, the way that John just said it, you know, if going for a variance, it's a open sheet for what we want to, what we can do as a board. But what I'd like to do if, with the permission of the rest of the members, let's open up the public and see if there are any neighbors and such that that might be objecting to rebuilding or building a house on this lot, and see what anybody else might think. Are there any abutters that might want to speak up? If you could just give me your name and your address, and then I will call on you individually, and you can each have a couple minutes to speak.
Yeah, right here, Eric C. Holmes, 61 Haywood Street.
Hey, Eric,
two
thanks for coming.
Thank you for having me. I'm 2 houses down. Donnie was a best friend of mine, so I know something about his house lots. He's got the same kind of configuration that I have, which is 4 and 4. They're 25 by 50. So I got 100-foot frontage, and it goes back 200 feet. They originated back in, I think there was the 30s or the 20s by a lawyer out of Boston named Shapiro.
Mhm.
And what he did was, if anybody did him little favors, he owned all this land up here, and it'd say, here's a couple of house lots for you, and do what you want. And that's how I understand the story. But getting back to your question, John, I would like to see a house on there. I've talked to my neighbors across the street. They both were saying that they would like to see a house there, no matter what, because right now it's all overgrown. That house is on ledge. There's no cellar in it. The only little cellar he has is probably 10 by 10, if that, which housed just underneath the bedroom, which is just a hot water tank, a furnace, and that's it. And the rest of that whole lot is just nothing but ledge. But as far as the question is, yeah, I'd like to see a house on there. I just can't understand why she can't buy out the other 4 lots, if that's possible.
Mhm.
That's my piece.
Thank you. Great. Are there any other butters? Okay.
All right, I have a question, John.
Yeah.
So what's on the other, so there's kind of like 4 lots, and they're all, if you look at all the other lots here, they're all bigger than these 4 lots. What's on the, is there any houses on it, on any of these 4 lots at the present time, other than the one that got destroyed?
No.
So it ought to
No.
be, it could be combined into one lot, you know, when,
Just like what I
Okay.
did.
Yeah.
I bought the 2 lot. I bought 6 lots, and then I bought the other 2 to make it an even 100 or 200 by 50.
Thank you.
probably the other lots aren't buildable because they're too small too, you know, so.
And I just, if you bought those other lots, or Donnie always said that he lived there for so long, he took it. What do you call it? Common law that they were his. That's
Adverse possession.
He thought. What was that?
Adverse
called-
possession.
Yeah. And I mean, he kept it up and everything. And
But he never filed for it, so it doesn't count.
okay.
If he had filed for it, he
Well,
may have been able to do
you can
that.
bring it,
Through the chair.
Yes.
One of the lots that's by Haywood Street is owned by the town, so you could petition to go to the town meeting and try to purchase it and add it to the property, so someone will pay taxes on it versus nobody's paying taxes now. And then the other one's privately owned, the one's right behind it.
Yeah. But everybody, the people I've talked to, when we got the letter of appeal, they all said, yeah, let's put a lot on there. Not a lot, put a house on there, because it's all overgrown now. My God, if you tear down that house, there's going to be all kinds of creatures coming out of that thing.
Okay,
I mean, it's been 2 years. He died April 9th.
I know. I got the phone call. All right. Thank you very much.
Okay,
All
John.
right. Mr. Moja, you haven't said anything.
I'm just looking at the pre-existing structure and haven't done the math, but I'm curious if there's an actual difference in the total footprint between the pre-existing structure and the proposed structure. I understand the layout's different, but I don't know if the proponent has that information.
Yeah, does the Rick or Eric, can you guys tell us the cellar hole footprint or the foundation footprint? How much difference is that?
If you give me just a minute, I'll try and run the math. Rick again, Mr. Chair. I would like to add a couple things while I take a quick look at that. Number one, if we were to take the proposed impervious surface, new house and asphalt driveway, which is considered here for the lot coverage, and we were to spread that over the 4 lots, we would actually be in the realm of just over 13% lot coverage. If we were to eliminate the existing or the proposed asphalt driveway, we would fall under the 25% as well. So, there are a few options if that's a concern. The proposed house has a footprint of about 1,112 square feet. I don't have the existing house off the cuff here. It is 20.5%. So doing the math here, 2.205 times 4550, it's about 933 square feet. So we're going from 933, which is inclusive of the house and the garage that existed, up to about 1,112. So just about 80 square feet of increase for the structure footprint. Existing, again, being the house and the garage outbuilding, and compared to the new house is about 90. 112 minus 933.
Moja, that was a really good question. I'm glad you held it back.
Well, through the chair, just looking at this, looking at the proposed project. I mean, the problem is the lot, right? And so we can make a bad problem worse by trying to conform to the existing zoning. The zoning's there for the benefit of the neighborhood. I mean, clearly, in this case, the zoning is not serving the betterment of the neighborhood or the property owner. I think putting a more contemporary structure and maximizing the value of that lot makes a lot of sense, both for the property owner and the neighborhood.
Mm-hmm. And merging those lots, I don't think really does anything, but I'd like to check with Mr. Gelchik again. But is it? And I know Mike said we haven't done it under 5,000 square feet, but it is one of the one of the ways that they drew those lines that it's just under that 5,000.
John.
Yeah.
The actual wording for a variance indicates that we cannot grant it but not on size. Owing to circumstances related to soil conditions, shape, or topography, but not on size of such land or structure. That's why we've, to my knowledge, never given a size variance in the past. And I think I've been on the board for 20 years plus at this point.
Mhm. Yeah, well, I know we did one in my neighborhood based on size. A person on one side of the street purposely bought the lot on the backside and then took 20 feet of the backyard of it so it could never be buildable. They sold the house, person that bought both lots, and then came to this board and said, "Hey, my lot's undersized. Can I put a house on it?" It was before I was on it. Actually, you were on it back then.
Through the chair.
Yeah.
May I ask a question?
Absolutely. Thank you.
So to the applicant, one of the abutters said that there was a significant amount of ledge on the property. Is that something that went into the design or location of the proposed house?
We did not consider the ledge. No, we have not done any test pits out there. We have, as I mentioned, proposed to position the house, I think, closer in conformity. Obviously, we've met the rear setback, but
But because of the ledge, you might have to put it in a different place.
I mean, ledge is considered soil conditions. So if the ledge is
Right.
somehow impacting the house, the proposed
And
house, it could be something that
advantageous
needs to
to
be taken into
you.
account.
Mm-hmm. Yes, obviously the ledge is a consideration in trying to construct a new house. I mean, it's certainly the more center of the lot that we could be will make it more beneficial in the construction process to the ledge.
Okay. So there's a condition. There is a soil condition then. Lack thereof, actually. Okay. So anybody else from the from the public? So this,
If I could just add something, I'm Eric from Custom Nest Builders,
thank you.
Mr. Chairman. First, I'd just like to give my condolences to the neighbor for your friend who was lost in this tragic accident. I don't know if any of the members of the board have been by the site, but there is a lot that has been encroached onto the adjacent lot, which is owned by the town. Our intentions is to clean all that up and to grass it and to make it look a lot nicer than what's existing now. So I believe there's a oversized shed structure on the back portion of the property. Our intentions is to clean all that up and to make it nice for people to use at their leisure or whatever the town intends it to be used for.
Mm-hmm.
But there is quite a bit of a mess over there.
Thank you.
How about that huge pine tree?
Okay, so I'm sorry. This is you can't just jump right in and.
Okay, I'm sorry, John.
Thank you, no problem. All right. Eric, thank you very much. Okay, so to my sitting board members, do we have enough to go on? Because what I'd like to do is close the public hearing and make a motion. Okay. All right. Would somebody like to make a motion to close the public hearing?
Motion to close the public hearing.
I have a second.
Second.
Second. Thank you, Arnold. Okay. We have a motion and a second. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none. James?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Arnold?
Yes.
And I'll vote in the affirmative also. Thank you. Okay, we close the public hearing. Okay. So I'm just going to read a motion that I've got here. 69 Haywood Street. The property previously had a single-family dwelling located on it. However, its structure was destroyed by a fire in April of 2023. Structures destroyed by fire or other catastrophic catastrophe, may be reconstructed in the same volume and area's original structure within 12 months of the structure being destroyed. The proposed structure will have a different volume and area than the original structure, and more than 12 months has passed since the destruction of the original structure. Therefore, a variance is required. Findings. I move that the Board of Appeals find the following as it relates to proposed development of 69 Haywood Street. Owing to the circumstances related to the soil conditions, or lack thereof, shape or topography of the land structures, but not affecting the generally zoning district which is located, a literal enforcement of the provisions of the bylaw would involve substantial hardship, financial or otherwise. Specifically, this list of circumstances: the desirable relief may be granted without substantial detriment to the public good, and that desirable relief may be granted without nullifying or substantially derogating from the intent or purpose of the ordinance of bylaw.
Through the chair.
Yes.
The specifically the sentence after specifically, you need to list the actual considerations. So that would be the soil conditions are whatever the applicant described it as.
Soil conditions, ledge. Okay, thank you. Then, that's the findings, and then do we vote on the findings and the decision separately on this one?
It's up to the board. You can vote on them separately. You can vote on them together.
We'll do it together. I move that the board grant a variance to allow a single-family dwelling at 69 Haywood Street as depicted on the plans entitled 69 Haywood Street, Hopkinton, Mass., prepared by United Consultants, dated April 1st, 2025, which would vary the applicable zoning requirements as follows. Lot area 4,550 square feet proposed, 45,000 square feet required. Lot coverage. Now, lot coverage. This is where I need some input from the board. Oh, John. Is it cleaner to do it as just the 2 lots, or to do the 4 with the oddity of the adjacency, or the, would it be the 33.2 proposed,
So
Yeah,
through
what's
the plans only show that one set of the 2 parcels. It doesn't
good.
show.
Okay, great. Then that's right. Thank you very much. Okay. Lot coverage of 33.2 proposed and 25% maximum allowed. Lot frontage 50 feet proposed, 150 feet required. Setback from the street 26 feet proposed, 30 feet required, and side yard 10 feet proposed, 25 feet required. Do I have a second as amended?
Second.
All right. We have a motion and a second. Any discussion on that motion? Any additions?
Yeah, I mean, Mr. Chair, I mean, I just don't think it qualifies for a variance. It's an undersized lot. The topography, I mean, is the topography different than the topography in the neighborhood? That's one of the qualifications. I don't think that we can grant a variance when it's not legally,
The topography doesn't have to be the topography of the whole neighborhood. Somebody could just have a giant rock in the middle of their one lot, and then that qualifies.
Well, you just read it. The topography is different than the topography. That's the standard, different than the topography throughout the neighborhood, I think is. But even aside from that, though, it's just an undersized lot. It's not a matter of the topography. It's just they want to get a variance for an undersized lot. I mean, I think they should. The other lots aren't buildable. I mean, if somebody wants to build on it, they got to kind of try to combine them.
They're going to come to us too. They
Yes.
come to us also, and then
I'm just stating my opinion. That's all.
Okay, that's great.
And legally, I just don't see it's that to give the zoning laws and the state zoning laws have to have some meaning.
I don't, and if somebody objects to what we're doing, there's land court. But I just look at this as a board that at some point we have to show some compassion, and that when we do broad stroke, zoning and stuff, that's what it's for.
Well,
We have this all over the lake, and we have it all over downtown. Downtown is just as bad as the lake area, and especially lake with that topography. There is so much gosh darn ledge there that you can't do much. Yeah, Mike, I see your hand up.
Yeah. One issue I have is we haven't had any testimony that there's ledge on the site. We have no information that that's an issue on this site.
What we just got from the neighbor that there's no cellar hole because
it's a different lot.
No, but he's talking about that lot that he wasn't able to put a basement in because of the ledge. And I know he's dying to speak, but you're not allowed to.
I know, but that's hearsay.
I know, but if that's all we've got to go on.
But that's not all we have to go on. We can ask that we be provided, if we're going to base the variance on there being ledge there, then we need to have some information that that's an issue.
yeah, but ledge is, Mr. Chairman, ledge is an issue if it's a matter of, setbacks. It's not, it's a separate thing from the size of the lot.
No, but that is again.
If the lot was,
No, that's soil conditions, though.
That's soil condition.
Arnold.
yeah,
And
so,
that's one of the requirements. That's one of the reasons we can grant a variance.
yeah, but you could have, if you have a lot that's too small, just because you wouldn't be able to build on it because it's too small. The fact that there's ledge on it doesn't change the fact that it's too small, that it's not related. So,
Right, you just can't conflate the two. You're right. The two can't be conflated, but it did meet that condition. And yes.
Okay. My second comment is the comment I had first is that the lot coverage is a self-imposed hardship. But they have a solution for that, so
Mhm.
I don't have an issue there.
All right.
I do have a question, and I'm not sure. Can we still ask questions of the building official?
Well, yeah, we can do anything. We just can't go back out to the public.
You feel better about it than you did before?
Okay. Would they have to rebuild this foundation anyway? If it doesn't meet current
Yeah.
current code?
Yes, he would. Especially now that we've got the extended stretch code in town. And that's a whole bunch of stuff. I don't build in Hopkinton anymore. Mr. Hunt does and stuff, and
Yeah.
I don't. Yes, so you would have to put a new foundation anyway, because that's the foundation there is what was a
Stone.
stone. Thank you.
So
But anyway, okay. I believe we're ready for a vote. Mr. Burton,
Yes.
Mr. Mosier,
Yes.
Mr. Cohen,
no,
Mr. Damasio,
no.
and I vote yes. We got a 3-2.
Yeah, you didn't like it.
John, does it have to be 4? Does it 3? Is it majority?
It has to be 4-1 for a
Okay.
5-member board.
Okay. All right. It fails. All right. You have to come back with another proposal. All right. That wraps this one up.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. All right, what else do we have on the agenda?
I didn't send the minutes out. I hadn't finished them yet.
Oh, okay. All right, so now we have, we have nothing coming up in 2 weeks. Didn't we say we're gonna take that one off?
Yep, we have nothing.
Yeah.
But we have one on August 13th as of
Okay.
now.
Okay. All righty. All right, well, everybody, thanks for coming. Let's say, can I get a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
We have a second?
Second.
Second,
Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none. Jim?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Dan?
Yes.
Mike?
yes.
Arnold?
Yes.
And I vote in the affirmative. We're adjourned. Thank you, everyone. Thanks for coming. Thanks for your input.
Thanks, John.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.